I met Ernie through a mutual friend. A guy that I used to go to the gym with, and met him a few months ago, and he owns a business where my friend works, and so that's how I kind of met Ernie.
I'm a single dad. I had gone through a divorce. I'm in the automotive business, and which the floor fell out of that. Struggling with a lot of things, depression, anxiety, just really not doing well.
Ernie came in and said, "Hey, can I talk to you for a minute? I got a lot going on." And I said, "Sure." And so we went into the conference room, and we sat there for about an hour, and he just began to share with me the things that were going on.
Between all of the divorce and the business and me letting these outside things into my life, it was just, I was in turmoil inside. I was ready for some change, pretty much.
I remember saying, "Ernie, you need the Lord in your life." And he said, "Where do I start?" And I said, "Let's pray."
You know, I've had people pray for me before, and the one thing that was different here was Pastor Chris said he was going to pray with me. And so I kind of just waited for him to put his hand on my shoulder and start praying. I looked up and he's just kind of looking at me. And he says, "You're going to pray, and I'm going to pray with you." At which point, it just came out. And I mean, you mentioned that I said a couple words. I remember saying a whole lot more than a couple words. And it just, bottom line is that it all came out at that point. And I knew that there's going to be some heavy change.
Each week we've been meeting for lunch, because I know if you're going to lead someone to the Lord, and I know if you're going to help someone find Christ, you can't just, find Christ and figure it out. You're going to have to walk with them. You're going to have to do what Jesus did and kind of disciple them and help them along. So we started having some lunches. Every week we've had lunch since. Every single week we've managed to have lunch together. And I think every one of them have been pretty emotional lunches.
It seems it's kind of like going to lunch with Chris. I end up with a little bit of homework. He comes in and he says, "I was praying on what to say to Ernie today, and God told me to tell you to let those people off the hook." And I immediately had probably 30 faces flash before my mind. I thought to myself, I'm going to pick up the phone and start calling these people and telling them that I forgive them, and found that it's not that easy. It's not that easy at all. But what I did realize is, in processing the forgiveness and processing what I feel and the anger, by the time I picked up the phone to tell them that I was letting it go and that I'm over it, I really felt in my heart that it was done. And it's just been really just pieces being lifted off my heart, off of my back, and I'm starting to feel free again. We were sitting down, and I was telling Pastor Chris how I really feel like a lot was stolen from me, as far as past families, aunts and uncles, through being a child of divorce, how the family just got separated, and not really seeing as much of my kids as I'd like to see. And Pastor Chris told me that the Lord would restore that. Not 10 minutes later, we were going back to my office, and cars driving by and honks and waves, and it was my daughter and her boyfriend and my grandchildren. And so we all pulled into the parking lot at the same time, and my daughter, not knowing who Pastor Chris is, gets out of the car and says to me, "Dad, myself and my boyfriend were talking, and we want to start going to church with you." And this was immediately after Pastor Chris had told me that my family was going to be restored. You know what, there's no way that was just a coincidence. immediately after he said everything was going to be restored. Pastor Chris asked me to commit to one non-negotiable, and that was to come to church on Sunday. And I've been here every Sunday. And even the day I was late and almost didn't come, I came and found all my children sitting in the back row right when I walked in the door. Wow.
Winning people to Christ is the mission of Jesus Christ. He came to this earth to die on a cross for every single person. He says in the Bible that he'll leave the 99 sheep just to find the one. And I think about 4 or 5 weeks ago that Jesus left the 99 sheep to find Ernie. And there are a lot of Ernies out there. We have them in our neighborhoods, we have them at the gym, we have them at the grocery store, we have people all around us. They need someone to give them time. It's more than giving them a flyer. It's helping them find Christ, whether it's leading them to Christ in their office, or if it's bringing them to church, but it's walking with them in their spiritual journey until they can stand strong enough to go do the same for someone else. That is the only way to really help people find Christ, and it is the duty of everybody. I didn't do this and I didn't help Ernie. I'm not helping Ernie because I'm a pastor. I'm helping Ernie because I'm a Christian.